Welcome back to Empowerment Radio. We're talking about stress-free through the holidays. How can you do it? Is it possible? Is stress obligatory or optional? Well, obviously, I believe we have a choice and we can avoid these stress triggers. And those triggers are triggers that are not only something that we can avoid during the holidays, but they are usually showing up at other times of the year as well. Just like we talked about, self-neglect and self-abandonment, or trying to be too perfect, or looking more on how you can meet other people's expectations, and just stubbornly not accepting help from others. These can be things that you probably have as patterns throughout your year and not just at the end of it. Now, another trigger that is very common for the holiday season is the trigger of the family. In fact, it's actually not the family who is a trigger, it's the buttons that they are pushing that are all installed on you, and somehow, even though you feel fine most of the time, as soon as you're around them, these people that installed those buttons just like magically are able to find them again and push them, just like playing a piano, very, very virtuously, wonderfully, and you react just like you used to when you were a teenager. For me, it usually took 3 days with my folks, and then there was for sure a little outburst or a feeling of hurt or a sense of reverting back into the rebellious teenager, no matter how old I was. How do they do this? Why does this happen? Why do we feel that as soon as we are around certain people, we are different? Some people tell me, I already really am worried about meeting my uncle because he always makes comments about my weight. Or my aunt who always tells me about my cousins and how great they are, and I just feel like crap afterwards. So, there are these things that have been happening for a long time, since our childhood, and they just repeat themselves. And in order for us to brace ourselves from that onslaught, maybe of judgment, negativity, comparison, or just feeling that, again, there is this sense of having to be someone that others want you to be, and if you're not, you do get rejected. All of those things are so familiar that automatically we are falling into that, what we did during our childhood, in order to keep ourselves safe, to protect ourselves. So when you watch yourself, just looking back at what usually happens at those gatherings, you probably observe that you may shrink down and become just half your size. Usually you may be the person who is the life of the party, has a good time, has no problem speaking up, and as soon as you're around your family, you're tongue-tied, you're quiet, you become invisible. Maybe usually you're a person who is rather modest and doesn't necessarily boast, but with your folks, you feel you have to always show how much you have accomplished. It's almost as if you are bringing the report cards back home, and you have to point out that you have A's because that's how you used to get love. Or maybe you felt since ever you left home that you found your inner peace, that you found a sense of harmony with everything around. But a few hours with your father and you get angry, you get pushed, you feel like you have to fight, you have to be right, and you don't know yourself. So when you know that there are certain things that reoccur over and over again, your subconscious mind, which drives those automatic patterns and behaviors, just hasn't really learned what to do instead. So what you can do, which is actually fun, it's just to sit down and already make a plan, have a strategy in place for all those people and all those situations that potentially can push your buttons. That's one way to uninstall those buttons. So when you know that your father is always asking you, so how is your job? Or your mother is always saying, well, when are you going to have a boyfriend? Or when are you going to get married? that you have already clearly inside of you how you want to feel about it. For example, with your father, you can just see that this comes from his own fears and insecurities. Maybe he just didn't really reach his own goals and he wants to make sure that you are reaching yours. Maybe it's your mother who just feels bored in her life and she just wants to have grandchildren to fill a void. If you are looking more behind what they are doing and have a little compassion and understanding for it, then automatically you know this is not me and this is not my issue. This is them trying to get something from me that I don't have to necessarily give them. I can give them love, I can give them a little comfort, I can give them some reassurance, but I don't have to be the one that has to feel automatically bad because I'm not doing what they hope me to do. Or when you get a remark about your weight, just know already your answer. Know that this person is maybe someone, again, who has been struggling with weight. And so it's a person that is very restrictive and working hard and feels like, wow, this is my badge of honor. And so everyone who is a little bit struggling with weight is just pointed out as, well, I'm better than you. Have compassion for that as well. And you may just say, well, this is not the top of my priority lists right now, but I got to make sure that at some point it will be there. But right now I have bigger fish to fry and other things to take care of. Whatever it is that brings you back into a place of power where you don't feel automatically going into those childhood defense patterns. Now, another fun thing you can do is just in your mind, and again, this is all about training your subconscious mind, making all those people at those gatherings about half the size. Picture the living room situation just as you know it will be, but rather than seeing your father overbearing or seeing your aunt as the one that is glaring at you, just make them like little children that are sitting on the chairs, on the sofa, and see them more from the perspective that you want to be the bigger person, that you want to be the one who doesn't fall into those traps, who doesn't give your power away, who doesn't feel that you have to react to whatever they try to get. And again, often these people don't do this deliberately either. It's more their habit and their patterns that are coming to the surface. Play with that, rehearse, and make sure that you feel you are in your power. And then lastly, what can you do when you're by yourself? When you don't have anyone to celebrate with, when you feel alone? Now, there are many things, of course, you can do. You can have an own tradition. You can treat yourself very well. My sister is a master in this. She makes it so beautiful in her own home. She doesn't have kids. She doesn't have a husband. But I think she makes magic happen with how she is celebrating Christmas, often by herself. And I admire this about her because she really loves it. So you can do the same, but you can also do what my mother did. You can bring joy and light to those that are also maybe celebrating alone, or that are maybe homeless or living in a shelter, volunteering, and just realizing that cheer is not about just having this perfect scenario. The cheer is about making someone feel seen and cared for and putting a little smile on their face. So there are many things you can do to make this holiday season stress-free. Another thing you can do is just send an email at info@thefearandanxietysolution.com with a chance of winning that great video on demand, the Fear and Anxiety Solution Seminar. Send it out to us. We'll do a little drawing and inform you as the winner. Until next time, in 2 weeks, have a great pre-holiday season. Prepare yourself, enjoy yourself, and see this as the season of light, not just externally, but also and especially internally. Goodbye.